Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf coming at you with another video. Alright, so yeah, man. Prayers out to the guy who lost his life in Minnesota. Lost somebody this morning. Ironically enough for me, I was up when it happened. Around 6:30 our time Pacific, probably 9:30 Eastern, something like that. I was on Instagram. So I saw somebody, one of the people that I follow, before the footage came out, posted and essentially said, yo, somebody else got shot in Minnesota. Sounds like they may not have made it. And he had only posted that for 3 minutes. It had only been up 3 minutes. So I was kind of pretty much awake for this one. Saw the footage as soon as it dropped. It was bad. It was bad, man. This lady, this guy was helping this lady. ICE agents pushed some lady and it pepper sprayed her. The guy who ended up getting shot came to her defense and they jumped on him. And as they jumped on him, I guess he had a licensed weapon. You know, Minnesota's open carry state, so he had his weapon on him. They said he brandished it. There's footage of his hands when they shot him. Both hands you could see just for a glimpse. They didn't have nothing in them. And before they started shooting him, you could see one of the ICE agents pulling the gun that they alleged was in his pocket away from him prior to shooting him, which means they had already disarmed him when they shot him. They shot him several times, and then his body laid out. They shot him several more times. Unnecessary shooting, if you ask me. It's wild, man. And you see it all. They got so many different angles because so many different people were holding the cameras. So, yeah, man. This is what we're seeing. Another person in Minnesota laid out by ICE agents. And of course, naturally, ICE is coming out. Their representative is come out essentially saying that, you know, they were within their right to shoot him. And he clearly came there to do damage. Just, you know, rhetoric, like we already mentioned. They tend to gaslight people, knowing that whatever they lie about is easily debunked. Which is a theme that we see, that we often talk about. And so everybody who's controlled by them, behind them, behave like them who are behind them. And this is yet another one of those situations where they're playing in our face, gaslighting us, and trying to provoke us into civil unrest. That's all this is really about, if you ask me. It's the mass provocation of civil unrest. They're trying to turn us into a bunch of chaotic, gun-toting people who are essentially looking to hunt ICE agents, and in that environment they can commit a literal genocide on American people if they choose to. And so I wouldn't put it past them, given the fact what we've seen in Palestine. I kind of think that's right up their alley. And given the fact that they are not pleased with a lot of us who did not support their genocide, who did not align with their rhetoric, who are unhappy about their fascism, the way they handle people that don't go along with what they want to do is they kill a bunch of them. And they perform psychological demonstrations against them. So you can see the beginning imprints of what they're trying to do here, man. If you've been paying attention to what we've been telling you to pay attention to, you already know what's to come. You already know what these people are about. You already know that they're not, like this is not outside of what it is that they've already been doing to people in other places. You know, so I would not be surprised by anything going forward. If Israel specifically is behind it, I suspect they could kill anybody and everybody. And that's essentially what I've been trying to prepare people for a while now, since the start of the genocide. And as I continue to watch the genocide, I watched how they behaved. I watched what rhetoric they used to justify killing the Palestinians, and it's not different than what we're seeing here. It's the same thing. It's the same people. And they look at us all as goy. I keep telling y'all, they look at us all as goy. A lot of y'all ain't put two and two together, although I've been trying to do that on this channel for you. ICE, there is no separation between ICE and the IDF. They're trained by the same people, even brandish the same weapons. You know, the same funding that's going into ICE is essentially coming from Israel. It's a money laundering scheme that sends money from Israel to American politicians, from American politicians back to Israel. And it's just a cycle where they wash the money, send their funding wherever they want to go to do whatever it is they want to do. And the people behind this are religious extremists who are trying to bring about some type of great war that they essentially are saying that Islam is bringing about. No, they are trying to bring about that great war. That's exactly what they're doing. And they're hoping by way of this provocation on a massive scale, they can provoke all of us into being just violent enough to justify that war, to justify the mass killing of millions of people. That's essentially what I think they actually want to do. They've already been doing it in Palestine. Palestine is a testing ground. They really want to wipe us out. Western world, American people who don't align with what it is they want to do. And the only people they want left are people who are willing to, people who will bow to them. That's it. They don't want anybody else around. If you're not willing to be a consumer, if you're not willing to align with their nonsense, if you're not willing to allow them to kill a bunch of people while you only concerned about yourself and your money, they don't really want you to exist. If you're going to buck them, or if they feel threatened by you, or if they feel you're not useful, if they feel you're not going to, worship them and worship who they serve, they want you off the earth. And a lot of us are not wired at all for what's necessary to protect ourselves from this. We still think we can vote our way out of this. We still think the strong rhetoric and calling our government officials and hounding them on their phones is going to stop this from happening. No, not at all. That's not what you're actually dealing with. You're dealing with something that is not reasonable, that does not yield to your imaginary protection, Constitution. We, America, we have a right. You don't have shit. You don't have anything. That's the point. That was never real. That's equivalent to sitting behind a computer and typing horrible things to people. You can get hit in the face in real life. That's what the Constitution looks more and more like to me the further I get into the reality of what it is we're dealing with. It's like people think they're protected. You're not protected. You're not protected by no laws. There's nothing imagined. That's an imaginary thing. Oh, our Constitution protects us. We can sue. They ain't gonna give you time to sue. They're shooting. Question is, what are you gonna do? The only thing they respect is violence. The only thing the way they enforce what their intentions are is through violence. While you're still trying to scold them and waiting for these politicians who are ultimately in their back pocket, who understand the game, who know how to play it their way, you're hoping those people represent you. They represent themselves. You're not the main character in this story, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, you're rather disposable. And a lot of y'all think, because this isn't happening here, it's happening over there, so it can't happen to us. Now y'all find out it can happen to you. I'm looking at so many different people who are not of color, so up in arms and just hitting the panic button on what they're seeing. As if this is new. I'm even seeing people of color in some cases who are new to this earth. Generation Z babies and stuff like that, who may be African American. I saw this one girl, she's African American, but it's obvious she doesn't have much knowledge of her own people. She's not from any walk of life that would help her understand what her people, her ancestors have actually been through. And so she's looking at this like she's a white person who's never seen anything like this before. She's like, I'm so it's just distraught and can't seem to function. Like, ma'am, these people been doing this to your people for 400 years. You're not supposed to be hitting the panic button necessarily like they are. You've seen this movie before. They've been doing this to your people in the streets with the cops for years. We've been trying to warn these people for years about what it is that's been done to us. And all they did was tell us it wasn't happening or gaslight us or tell us we should have complied or something. Now they're finding out what it looks like to be on the other side of it. This ain't new for us. ICE been terrorizing people in these streets for over 60 years. But it wasn't happening to them, so they didn't sound the alarm. It didn't happen to them, so they were distant from it, just like they are as it pertains to the genocide in Gaza and the nonsense that's going on in the Congo and Sudan. Because it ain't happening to their people, there's no concern, they don't have no fear. And most importantly, they don't have no care. Now it's happening to white people, and all of a sudden, oh my God, that's never happened, it's unprecedented. It's not unprecedented. You just didn't have any respect for when it was happening to your neighbor. That's all that is. And you caught off guard because you were distant from it. You were distant from it because you didn't give a crap. You didn't care until it hit your doorstep. And now it's at your doorstep. As a black person, honestly, I feel bad. Because I don't want to see anybody go through this. Not my people, not your people, not those people. I'm not interested in seeing. But that comes from a space from which to respect what it means to have it happen to you. Apparently, when you don't know anything about that, you don't care if it happens to anybody else. You don't ring the alarm until it's coming toward your people. You don't feel pain for a child dying unless that child looks like you. That's a deficiency that I just don't harbor. I ain't waiting to see if the kid's black to wonder if the kid should be given some safety or should be pulled out of a abusive situation or there should be saved from genocide. I'm not sitting here waiting to say, well, let me see if he have curly hair. Let me see if his hue's dark enough. Is it happening to us? No. Okay, let's get back to our regular scheduled program. I never was like that. So now, when this crap is starting to knock on the door of my country, I've been singing, I've been screaming this for 2 or 3 years. I've been trying to get people to care for 2 or 3 years. I've been trying to get people to understand that this is happening. It could happen to you for 2 or 3 years. Ain't gonna catch me off guard. I know exactly what's coming. I know exactly what they just did is not new. Why? Because I was giving the courtesy of urgency to the circumstance prior to it meeting me. Which is ultimately what America, particularly white America, has failed to do. They see people look like me going through the same stuff and won't take no notes. None at all. Feel no urgency. None at all. They see Hispanic people going through this stuff in the 90s and the 2000s and laugh about it instead of taking notes and understanding that this is something that could happen to them. They never thought it could. Never has anything been more necessary than this for them. And so if we're black people or brown people and watching them spin around like tops, scared out of their ass, thinking that the sky is falling and that they've never seen anything like this in their lives, understand that is a direct disrespect to you because you've been going through this. You've been telling them this and they didn't want to hear it. They told you that it wasn't nothing that, they could do about it, or that you should have just complied, or that you should have just had your papers, that you were the terrorist, that you were the bad guy, that you was a gang member, so that you needed to be attacked this way. That if you would have just stayed in school or just said no or some stupid stuff that they didn't have any understanding about, nor did they care to learn from you perspective on. Now when you see this happening to them, you just sit back and do the same thing. Hey man, y'all should have complied, man. Y'all should have really paid attention to us when we were telling you what's going on in Palestine. Y'all really should have paid attention to us when we were telling you what's going on in these streets with these cops. You really should have been paying attention to us when we were telling you at the borders that was some inhumane stuff. How they was doing these people in Mexico and all this and all these areas, in the border, how they treat these people, that was inhumane. You didn't care. You gave no cares. Now all of a sudden 2 of yours get popped. Now it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh. And what am I supposed to say? I've been watching kids die that don't look nothing like me for the last 2 years. And all y'all did was demonize people who were telling you this. Telling the world that we were bad guys, or listening to people tell you that we were bad guys and believing them. Think UCLA. Last year, 2 years ago, UCLA. When them kids were standing up there telling y'all, yo, what's going on in Palestine is no good. And they beat the hell out of them kids. Yo, this what's going on in Palestine. It's awful. We have a problem with it. And arrested them on campus. And most of y'all say, oh, they're terrorist sympathizers. I mean, don't you know of Hamas? All right, cool. Well, now, obviously, the ICE are just trying to, do what they're being told to do. So maybe just comply. If they ask for your ID, just give them an ID. It's the same shit y'all did to my people, man. Same shit you did to the Brown. Should just comply. Y'all sound an alarm like this is the first time we've ever seen something like this is because you didn't care when it was pointed at anybody that wasn't you. And to whom this does not apply to, ignore it. Because it's not for you. But for those who it is, and it's plenty, that's my message to you. Hey, it's your turn. Run. Be very afraid. Because y'all didn't mind when they were making us very afraid. Y'all didn't mind when we were going through this with the cops. Y'all didn't mind when the Spanish were going through this with ICE. When they were screaming La Migra and all you could say is, oh, you're illegal. They've been doing this to these people for years. They're using ICE as some type of evil psychological irony, if I'm being honest with you. They went to the coldest place in the country, in the coldest month of the country, and aligned the word ICE with ICE's presence. Cold ice, it's a psychological mind screw. Don't you get it? I told y'all. When George Floyd passed away, I was wide awake that morning. It was like 6 a.m. for that one. That looked like a demonstration. That didn't even look organic to me at all. None of it did. And now fast forward to where we are right now, and in the same area, they're doing all of this. That's a psychological testing ground, y'all. From what I understand, the gun that the guy was holding today, the gun that they said he had, I don't know this to be true, but I read it from somewhere, so take it for what it's worth. This is Israeli issued. For all I know, he was an Israeli op. That was a human sacrifice. And we know these people lie down for human sacrifice. I'm not saying it happens very often. I'm not saying that he did that. I'm just saying that this is the environment for which such things take place. Not every victim is a victim, unfortunately, when you're dealing with satanic energy. I seen footage not so recently, maybe about a month ago, of a lady. I guess this footage was from like maybe 10 years ago or something like that. But some big corporation of some sort did some type of human sacrifice ritual, and the victim ended up laying down in compliance, laid there and let them stab her to death. So if you think that's above what these people are up to, believe me, it's not. Especially if they're trying to demonstrate something for their greater good, for their greater purpose. Yeah, they will sacrifice. That's what they do. What do you think the Hannibal directive is? Not everybody who's a victim in them situations is actually non-compliant. Some of them are giving their lives for their cause, for the means of bringing about the psychological demonstration that's supposed to create the chaos that ultimately brings about their bigger picture. They will definitely kill many of their own, and some of them will lay down their lives for it. What does that look like is the question. Because sometimes people think, oh, I'm laying my life down for my country means picking up arms and dying in a firefight. No, sometimes it means laying down and letting them slaughter you as a demonstration for the rest of us to be psychologically warped somehow. This is something that they do. I'm not saying that's what happened today. I'm just saying that we're in an environment where that is the case. When you do your homework on who is behind who is doing all of this, this is how they move. This is what they've proven. And if you were paying attention, you would already know that. If you were paying attention to what was going on in Palestine, you would already know that. If you were paying attention to what's going on in Congo, you already know that. If you're paying attention to what's going on in Sudan, you already know that. You're not surprised by anything that you saw in Minnesota. It's essentially what I've been trying to explain to people for 2 years now. I think the George Floyd situation was a demonstration. And I do believe that there's reason to believe why today's situation could have been a demonstration, and the situation with Miss Good could have been a demonstration. Now, that doesn't mean they all wanted to die. It just means that the circumstances surrounding the situation are aligned with this not just being happenstance, but more so coordinated efforts of psychological warfare. Psychological. Because the main thing is to get in your head, have you afraid, have you making mistakes, and ultimately aligning with whatever it is they want to see the collective do in that space. They want you to be scared. They want you to be running. They want you to be making mistakes. They want you to be fighting, and they want you to do it illegally, so they have a justifiable means of doing whatever it is they intend. And it is not good for you to do what they are asking you to do. If they want you to riot, you need to be peaceful. If they want you to protest, you need to stay home. Do you see what I'm saying? Because you don't want to play into their hands. Whatever they have planned, they want you to react a certain way. You don't react that way. That's not how you win that game. It's just not checkers, man. I do believe the way to win this battle, I truly believe the way to win this battle is to stop paying these people. Whatever that looks like. I'm not telling you to break the law. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just telling you, they need to stop getting your money. Whatever that looks like. Because whatever they're funding is coming out of your pocket. Genocide, terror on your own streets, it's all coming out of your money, man. They're not spending their own money on any of this. That's the moral of the story. They pay you to do their bidding by making you pay them. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's how they do it. They make you pay them. Then they do what they want. Then they gaslight you about it. And they tell you, prop some politician in your face. And they have that politician say some stern thing. And that stern thing has no backing behind it. Meanwhile, they engage in violence, which enforces their intentions, while trusting that you will never get hip to that game at all. And they keep on funneling the same $1 trillion in a circle. They send it here, send it there, send it there, send it there. And as they do, they move their intended will out of one piggy bank and out into the other. Out of one bank account and into the other. Trillion here, trillion there, trillion here, trillion there. It just goes in a circle. And every time it goes in a circle, they intend to do something terrible. I need $600 billion for bombs here. $700 billion for this. $600 billion for this. And money just keeps going in a circle. And it's always coming out of your pocket. Anytime they need a little extra, it's coming out of the taxpayer, man. It's coming out of your hard-earned Westerner. And no, that ain't just limited to America. That's all Western countries. It's coming out of your pocket. Same thing. And they pay you to pay them. You understand what I'm saying? You work, they pay you. You pay taxes, it goes back in their pocket. Whatever it takes to make your life move is a minimal amount of money. Minimal. Whatever they have to spend to create the things you use in life is significantly less to make those things than it is that you're paying for. Most of that money is going into taxes. And that's just my theory. Most of what it is we pay is going into taxes. They spend as little money as possible on the things that we use. Our cars, gas, food. They spend as little as possible on any of that production. And we spend 600, 700, 800 times what it's actually cost to make most of the time. And the rest of that money gets lost in the translation, lost in this funneling, laundering process, I believe. This is my theory. Not necessarily what I know. What does it seem like? It seems like a money laundering scheme. And I'm telling y'all, man, as long as we continue to pay them, they're going to always be able to play this game. The question is, what gets exposed when we stop paying them? Because they're going to keep doing what they do, and they're going to reach into other spaces to get that money. Question is, what mistakes are made when they do that? And they start exposing how they've manipulated the housing market, the stock market, the crypto market, the black market. And you start understanding that your country is not in debt. That money is just hidden. Your world, say the country's in whatever, how many $1 trillion in debt? That's black market money. It's understood. They got it. They just can't account for it. They got that money. They have it. It's in the trafficking. It's in the strange porn. It's in the gun market. It's in the gambling market. All types of betting. Probably mostly human trafficking. They got the money. I'm telling y'all, this country ain't in debt. That debt that they say is there, it's in the black market. Whatever that dollar amount is, it's black market money that they control. We're trillions of dollars in debt. No, we're not. We're really not. Because every time they need something, they have it. Anytime it's time to send Israel some money, they got it. Anytime it's time to send one of Israel's aligned countries with money, they got it. They got it. That's my point of view. That's what's in my heart to say to all of y'all, man. A lot of this stuff is just a psychological demonstration. They're trying to force full compliance and or create terror for their own shits and giggles. Because at the end of the day, a lot of what it is they're trying to do is just make people sad and scared for their own happiness. Just to say they were able to pull it off. Look how scared they are. Look how angry they are. Look at them swinging. They're glorified bullies. You ever look at any type of demonstration where a big brother is bullying a little brother? Little brother's significantly smaller, and he puts his hand on little brother's head, and little brother's swinging. He can't touch him. He can't do nothing to him. Even if he do hit him, it ain't gonna hurt. That's what they're doing to you. That's exactly what they're doing to you with this Minnesota crap, with a lot of this stuff. That's what they're doing to you. And they're doing it just to get off. It's not even like there's something around this that makes any real sense. No, they're just having fun. This is fun for these demons, man. I'm telling you it is. It's fun. They're having a good time. They're serving their devilish entity, their false god that they serve. And the stuff that I'm finding out about these people, man, that Wailing Wall, is not what they say it is. At all. So all you presidents and all you celebrities that keep going to that Wailing Wall, you better do your homework on that Wailing Wall. Or you better be cool with it not being what you were told it was. That's what I will say. If you're not going to do no homework, if it ain't in your best interest to find out, just know it ain't what they say it is. That Wailing Wall is not something having anything to do with God at all. Put it like that. Nothing to do with God. Nothing to do with even the Jewish faith. No, that ain't what that is. And so that's what I want to say to all of y'all going to the Wailing Wall, especially all them presidents, man. Every president that's done it, they need to understand. They need to know what they're actually doing. Because a lot of people are just doing things for political standing. You don't want to piss off your donors. You don't want to disrespect the donor's faith. We were raised in this country to respect people's faith. Even if we don't honor it, we know we should. It's that kind of thing. But when it comes to that, they got y'all doing something that's not right. That's not of the God of Abraham at all. That's what I've come to know. Not think, no. And a lot of these practices, a lot of these behaviors, as I talk to you guys on this channel about all the time, they serve a different God, man. They do not serve God. They don't. And a lot of these behaviors are meant to please that entity. He wants to see certain things. The God that they serve wants to see certain things that the God that you serve most definitely does not want to see. And they're trying to make those things happen. They're using the puppets they control to do it. That's why I tell people, my atheist friends and my friends who don't believe in anything, what's driving this world and the things that you're seeing is a belief in something greater than oneself. Capitalism is not what's driving a lot of this at all. What's driving this is religious extremism. It's very much not capitalism. So if you're in a space where you're looking at everything through a capitalist lens or opportunist lens, you're going to miss some things because the people who are really making things go, That's not what they're on, man. That's just the cover over what it is they're doing. What's underneath it is something else. And once if you think that everything boils down to money, you're gonna make a wrong move somewhere in this game. You're gonna measure something absolutely wrong in regards to how you are to survive in the environment they control. If it all boils down to money, eventually you're gonna make a mistake, because it doesn't. Only to a point, man. Then it starts becoming about, who do you serve? Then it starts becoming about, can we accomplish our goal? Sacrifice on this, or move people to believe that, or align these people over here so they can be properly aligned on the chessboard, so to speak. It's not all about money. Not for those who are truly at the top of this game, man. Not for those truly at the top of this game of life we're in. It's about God, and it's about a war with God. It's about God, and it's about a war with God. Simply put. And it all trickles down to all these various different things that you're seeing today. So that's what I want to say, man. Don't necessarily trust everything you see as it pertains to what's going on in Minnesota. Don't. Because if you understand the people behind the people, you understand that they be doing some bull crap. Half of the stuff that it looks like is deception. It's just how they move. They lie, they gaslight, they do weird psychological demonstrations, telling you soft lies that they know you're going to read into, and then discover that they're lying. They're toying with you. They do this stuff on purpose. That is not by accident. And if you've been watching enough of my content, you already have seen me discuss this many times. But they will very deliberately tell you a lie that they know damn well that you're going to learn is a lie. Why do they do this? I'm not actually certain. But I know they've done it enough times to see that it is most definitely deliberate. Gaslighting, oh, this man was trying to do this. The footage tells us otherwise. Oh, don't believe your lying eyes, or no comment, or whatever they're going to say, because it's not about you believing the lie. It's about them putting you through that mind screw, that specific mind screw. I'd imagine if somebody said doing this to people creates certain behaviors that ultimately they are looking to provoke. If you tell a person a lie that they're going to discover is a lie, blank takes place and we can manipulate that. I believe that's what this is. I believe it's something like that going on there. But you saw it with the Palestinian situation, and you're seeing it here as well in Minnesota with this ICE stuff. And you know damn well there's 1,000 angles of the footage. Same thing with the Charlie Kirk thing. They knew damn well people were going to figure out he wasn't shot with a 30-06. They knew. It wasn't like they thought that lie was going to stick. They knew it wouldn't. They're toying with you, man. But I do believe in God, and I do believe He is with the people, man. I do believe the power is with the people because God is with the people. That's what I believe. I believe God is with the people. There's a lot of things done for our deception and the toying of our hearts and minds. But when it came to that analogy that I gave you with the big bro and little bro didn't have a proverbial all-seeing eye ready to come to his defense in that analogy. He didn't have an entire army behind him. The people do. That's the difference, man. And so we just got to keep on keeping ourselves as enriched in our relationship with a living God as possible. Regardless of your major religion, the history tells us that humanity will prevail one way or another. May go through a lot, may get worse before it gets better, but you have to continue to survive the intentions of the enemy, man, because at the end of the day, he wants to wipe us all out. But beyond everything, he's a loser. So he's not necessarily capable of trying to accomplish any of his goals, really. Not without full compliance. He can't really accomplish any of his goals without the psychological mind screw actually working, without people putting down their faith and turning to his ways to engage in battle. Without your compliance, he's going to fail. That's what I know, man. And look, man, for all those people who are celebrating this, layers and layers of what it is I've told you has happened. Black people told you they were coming after us in the streets. Ever since the slavery days, civil rights days, we've been telling you, yo, this is bad. Hispanic people have been telling you, hey, ICE been coming after us. Not for 2 years, for like 40 years, 50 years they've been running from ICE. They've been telling you. The Native Americans told you. The Palestinian people, they just displayed their situation with these folks. They showed you. So for all of those people who are still ignoring people, thinking that this is not coming to you someday, those who are sitting there saying, yay, go ICE, do what you do, ICE, yay, it's coming for you, man. Are you not learning anything while you're sitting here rooting for the empire? Many layers of individuals were rooting for the empire who've now learned that the empire wants them dead too. And so too are those who are rooting for the empire now. It don't want anyone to succeed. Least of all those who support it the most. It's a devilish entity, and it wants to turn on anybody and everybody who works for it, and anybody and everybody who opposes it. It has no friends, including itself in its own mirror. It loves nothing. It destroys anything and everything eventually if you allow it to. You should not root for this thing to succeed just because you don't appreciate the people it is after. It will come after you after they're done with them. And that is what this has shown us time and time and time again. It's time for people to wake up if they're going to survive what's coming for them, man, especially if you don't have a relationship with God. You had better have a relationship with common sense. Those who are putting on the badge in the name of this, taking a check for them, this most definitely applies to you. Anyone who works for it will be betrayed in the end. Anyone who thinks it can align with it cannot align with it in the end. No matter what your color is, no matter your relationship with God, or whatever you align with, whatever you believe in, it's going to betray you. No matter how close you are to it, it's going to betray you. You could be its right-hand man, it's going to betray you. You could be its number one puppet, it's going to betray you. You could be its number one enforcer, it's going to betray you. It's going to betray itself. It's the point. You look at it through a spiritual lens and it all lines up, man. And it's counting on most people not being able to do so. It's counting on people being spiritually bankrupt, utterly deformed spiritually and morally, and ultimately too devastated and too traumatized to move properly within the game, so to speak. It's counting on you rooting on other people failing. It's counting on you separating yourself from which you fear, which happens to be others. It's counting on you being confused and therefore despondent and or inebriated because of your sadness, too drunk, too high, too care, so to speak. It's counting on all of that. It's counting on everything but your focus and alignment with God, your trust and belief in the humanity, your trust and belief in a fellow man, regardless of his skin color, with goodness in his heart. You can trust a person with goodness in their heart no matter what skin color or walk of life they come from. It's counting on you not being able to identify that properly. It's counting on your confusion and your willingness to create more confusion with your energy. It's counting on you doing its bidding. But if you don't, you can succeed to see tomorrow. God is behind this. All of us. He's behind us. That's the point I'm trying to make. You just got to trust in him and then let him lead the way. And whatever you do, do not align with the empire. Because whatever it says is a lie. Whatever it speaks of in regards to its motivation is not what it's doing. What it's actually doing is serving Satan. That part is not even up for debate. You just got to look at what's been left there for you to see. Bdf 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.